I'm Dave Crane. Now I also do gigs like this. And I can train you to be able to work with people like this. And then you also can do gigs like this. Come join me and we'll take your speaking to a whole new level. Hello, it's me, Dave Crane. How are you today? I'm all excited today because I know the show that I've got lined up for you, and it is fab. It's all about alphas. Yes, alphas. And if you don't know what alphas are, I'll explain exactly to you what alphas are. Alphas are sounds like it's some kind of wizard from Aladdin. I am the wizard Alphazar. Bing. There you go. But today is all about something different. Today is all about the generations that are in the workplace. And the fact that it doesn't matter what generations in the workplace do, the next generation that's coming through, which is Generation Alpha, is going to change the game because they've got a completely different way of looking at the world and a completely different way of populating it. Now, the strange thing is, my head keeps turning orange. I don't know why it's turning orange. It feels like, you know when you see these science fiction movies and somebody becomes a human bomb, and I'm going to try and adjust the color of my head now. See if I can make it a bit brighter there, a bit better. Go like that. It's still orange. I look like a Jaffa cake. See, that's my normal skin color. That's what it should be. So I'm going to apologize in advance. If my head suddenly turns orange, it's not because of anything apart from the colors are getting ridiculous. Colors are getting a bit ridiculous today. So I've been playing with it and trying to alter it. But it might end up that I end up with a big orangey head. A smashing orangey bit in the middle, as I used to say. See, it's gone like that again. I look like a blooming Oompa Loompa. So ignore that. See, it's gone back again. Look. Like that. It's seriously like one of those adverts that used to have for taking cough sweets. If your child has a problem and starts to cough on the way to school, take one of these shining cough sweets. Very good for you. So have one of them. How do you feel, son? I feel better, Peter. How do you feel, son? I feel better, Mater. Can I give you a kiss as I go to school? Of course. Mwah, mwah. Remember, take shinings and your kids will be great. Red rum. Red rum. That was a joke on behalf of the movie The Shining. And the rest of it didn't really make sense. But it kind of made sense to me. Because when I was a kid, I was petrified of the movie Shining. And even to this moment, I've not watched it all the way properly. Because I've watched it from behind the sofa when I was very young. And they've remade it and they've done other stuff. And you don't really care. And you can't believe I'm actually having this conversation. And guess what? Neither can I. So, it's going to be an incredible show today. Yes. Really excited about it. He didn't, but anyway, it's all about Generation Alpha, and it's all about having an orange head. And I'm going to see if I can get rid of this orange head. Stay there, right? I'm gonna change the lighting as we speak. Give me a moment. Talk amongst yourselves. Let's see if it makes a difference. I turn this light off. You can't see what's going on because unfortunately I don't have another light, another camera to show you. And if I did show you, I wouldn't do because you'll see what a mess my desk is in. So going back to here now. And now sitting down. Is my head orangey? It's not orangey. See? Isn't that amazing? And you're thinking, Dave, why didn't you do that before you started the show? And I'm thinking, you know what? I should have. Because it's ridiculous that I didn't. Because now my head's normal size and normal color. Well, the size didn't change. It wasn't freaky.
Absolutely.
It wasn't freaky.
Right away.
Whatever. So with this, hopefully, like everything with a show, we turn it into money for you. Because your understanding of the workplace is kind of important. Your understanding of how to get on better with kids and better on with kids of all ages. Because when you get to my age, everybody's a kid. Well, they are.
Sure thing.
Thank you. So with this, we've got a number of different things. I should actually turn it back to this picture here, this camera here. So with that, we've got a number of different things to get through. I'm going to share with you, first of all, the 5 different generations in the workplace and how to deal with them. And if you don't know how to do it, then after this you will. Will that be useful?
Certainly.
Thank you. And then next up, we're going to look at the next generation, Generation Alpha, which is anybody who's 10 years old and below, and the fact that they come in more they come in more tableau than anybody else. I'm really having problems with my teeth today. I'm not getting stressed. See? I can deal with it. And I've got a new stress toy, which I showed you a couple of days ago, which I unboxed for you, which is actually this one here. Ugh. He said breaking his nails. Breaking my nails. Look at this. Look at this. Right, okay, so with that, I'll just show you. This is my stress toy. And I shared this with somebody the other day. They said, oh, Dave, I've got one of them as well. Yeah, everyone's got one. Why haven't you got one, Grandad? Because I didn't get stressed before. Maybe it's lockdown that probably. See that? It's got lots of different sides to it. It's like a Rubik's Cube. But you can't do anything with it apart from just spin stuff and press stuff. And it's really for fidgets. It's like a fidget spinner, but it doesn't look as glamorous. It's just got, like, for instance, this bit here. You see? It's just an on-off switch. That's all it does. But when you're in a mood and you're going, and you're making a noise like the world's worst motorbike starting up, ooh. Then that's kind of really going to help you.
Nope.
It is going to help you.
No.
Well, I think it helps me anyway. So today's show is, as I mentioned, all about the fact we're talking about Generation Alpha and how it fits in. And I've got a very witty way of putting it, which is this. I thought, oh, do you like that? Do you see what I did? Generation Alpha, the new kids on the block chain. Get it? New kids on the block chain. And that's showing you Teen Titans. Well, actually, pre-Teen Titans would probably be better because Generation Alpha aren't teens yet. They're pre-teens. So anything up from 10 beyond and below is what you're talking about. Now, the key thing about these particular people is obviously very small, but also they have a different attitude to everything. And they do it better than us. And so right now, you may be aware, you might not be aware, at the time of actually going out with this, we're heading towards the US elections. And there are other elections going around the world, but the US one is kind of important because whatever happens in the US tends to have a knock-on effect with the rest of the world, unfortunately, but it's true. So, oh, hold on, I'm going to sneeze. I'm sneeze? I'm not going to sneeze. I'm going to sneeze. I'm not going to sneeze. Hold on, let me turn the music up. Didn't sneeze. Doesn't it get annoying when you're just about to sneeze, you're looking forward to it, and then nothing comes out? Not that you need to know anything would come out, because it wouldn't come out because I'm clean. And I haven't got a cold. It's just the air conditioning sometimes can kind of catch me off guard. And when it does that, then I sneeze, but it's only like a friendly sneeze. It's not like a terrible wahoo! And teeth pop out, and you're going, ah! And if you're watching on your phone, you're going, ah! As though it's come through the phone. It's not like that at all. Excuse me. Ugh. Ugh. We knew it was going to happen. So there you are. Chance for me to have a quick swig of coffee, hopefully. And now that we've summarised the show and cleared the air, we should be good to go with something really exciting. So we're going to take a look at the current workplace with 5 generations working with it. And then we're going to have a deep dive into Generation Alpha. And then we're going to see some Generation Alpha being interviewed to find out what they're like. And if you're going to say, Dave, they're just like kids. What do you mean by that? They're not like kids. They're not. Have you ever seen that movie, Village of the Damned? Or read the book? No? Well, watch it, because that's what I'm talking about. And you're probably saying, Dave, that's just a ridiculous thing to say, and there's something wrong with you.
Of course.
Well, maybe a little bit.
Why not?
You've not read it, have you?
For the last time, no.
So in that case, you don't really know what I'm talking about, do you?
No.
Okay. So forget the book, The Village of the Damned. Forget the fact that it's all about a story, all about this village where I think it's a nuclear leak or something. A nuclear leak. Sorry about this. I just as calm as a cucumber, but not even having a green head or an orange head, just normal head. Thank you. So, Village of the Damned is this movie all about these kids that are all telepathic and they're going to take over and kill lots of people. And the school teacher, which is Christopher Reeve in the remake, and the original was somebody I don't even know, can't remember, had to think brick wall, brick wall, brick wall. So the kids couldn't read his mind to tell what was going on because he had to get rid of them. And it was a long story, and it was a good story, but it was a kind of creepy story, and it didn't need to be brought up. Generation Alpha. I'll hopefully get a chance before the end of the show today to bring in my daughter Maya, who's 10 years old. So she's actually a prime Generation Alpha. But I have to warn you, I'm going to warn you in advance before you say anything. My daughter, it's Halloween at my daughter's school today. So they're all dressed up for Halloween. So when she comes in, she's covered in bruises. That does not mean that I beat up my daughter. I don't beat up my daughter. If anything, she's emotionally scarring me on a daily basis. So when you see her, when she's got like scars here and red mark under there, it's all done by makeup by her mother. Okay? Do you believe me?
No.
It's true.
I said no.
Why would I possibly do that? No answer, have you?
No.
So do you believe me there's been no domestic violence in the Crane household unless it's been done to me?
Nope.
Okay, it's Speak on Stage. Next up, by the way, we will be investigating exactly what it takes to be. I'm looking at the wrong camera now, but I'm like that, and I'm looking at I should be here. We're going to investigate exactly what it takes to be a Generation Alpha. I've not even talked about the show. There's so many things I wanted to talk about, and I'm just talking rubbish because I'm getting excited. Stop. Big deep breath. Right, here's the thing. We're going to be talking about Generation Alpha and the other generations. That's the first thing. Next thing we're going to talk about the difference that Generation Alpha is going to be making and how to deal with them if you're a parent to make sure that you get the best out of them, they get the best out of you, and the changes in the world as a direct result of that Generation Alpha. And then when we go into our cheat sheets, it'll again be about Generation Alpha, but with that we're specifically going on about the brilliant things that they bring and how you can really embrace it and get more out of life. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Thank you. Wow, that was hard work. Now, before we show anything, I just want to share with you the thing I admire so much about Generation Alpha. They can teach us so much stuff. These are the ones that are born into a world where tech was the reason that they started getting interested in stuff. They were the first ones as a sort of global experiment, and it didn't really start like that, but it just happened, where you give them your phone, or you give them an iPad, because then they just keep quiet as they start pressing buttons. And what happens is they get an incredible intellectual experience and knowledge of how to use gadgets, more than we even have. Even for us, we're trying out new stuff all the time, going, "Well, hey, that's really cool." They just go, bum, 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 yeah, we expected that. We thought it might be in a year's time, but we got it now and about time too. So you're thinking this is really strange. Now, the thing I admire most about Generation Alpha is when I was about 8 or 9 years old, I grew up as a black kid, as you do if you're black. I grew up as a kid of mixed parentage because my dad's white, my mum's black, but it doesn't matter. For all the story is worth, it's mixed race. Should we just call it that? And I expected the system to sort life out for me. I expected the system to be fair. So therefore, if you're black and everyone else is white, it doesn't matter. There will be justice taken care of. Just as where your parents have justice in the house between the kids, anybody that messes up, everybody gets sorted out and everyone's happy by the end of the day. Life would be like that. And so I waited for life to sort it out for me, and life never did. It took a while, probably my mid-20s, when I was on the radio, before I realized that there is no justice in this world. There is no guarantee that anybody's going to do anything on my behalf. If I don't go out and grab it for myself, then it will never happen. Politicians are, by and large, serving themselves, but they're also at the same time helping to grow the country as long as that serves themselves. I'm seeing this more now than ever before. I'm sure it's always been the truth, but more so now than ever before. Because I think with fake news and with the amount of reporting that goes on, there's a gap that's been closed between what people say and what they can prove. So people don't necessarily believe anything that anybody says because it could be lies. You've got to see over a period of time and with their social proof whether actually all the stuff they talked to you about was the truth. Does that make sense? Are you with me so far? So stay with me. Growing up as a kid, I waited for things to get better, and it took me in my 30s, really, before I started just going, I don't care what people think. And maybe all the way through, and I'm even up now, starting my own TV show, when nobody else is starting their own TV show, and doing it on a daily basis, with very few doing it on a daily basis, and growing my brand and teaching people to do this with the Industry Icon program, I'm not doing this because people have suggested it. I'm not doing it because the system said we should do this now. I'm doing it because I believe it's the right thing to do, and I believe it's a market, and I know I'm helping people. But this is not by design by anybody else. It's by design by me. This is my point. Now, I'm in my 50s, and I feel like I'm in my teens because I'm doing something experimental, and it's exciting, and it's different. But Generation Alpha starts off thinking like me. They go online, they create relationships, they do collaborations with people, they invent, they're creative, they get stuck into using new tech, and they go blah, 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 blah. We don't tickle it, I'll go that noise, but they get very quickly, work their way around things, and they just go like that, and they put it down. They're so smart, and they so won't put up with all the crap that we've been putting up with. That's my point. That's why I find it so exciting, because with an election coming, where you're on one side or the other side, or refuse to be on a side, all the alphas that I've met are on the same side. They will come in, they'll change it, and they won't put up with anybody's crap. And I love it. So where does that leave us for the show? Well, I hope you're as excited as I am about what I'm going to be sharing with you. This show will knock your socks off and give you an insight into the generation that's coming, to let you know how it all fits together, and hopefully that will really help you. And maybe make you start some kids. That'd be fantastic as well. I love your thoughts. I love your comments. Please do like, please do share, please say what you think. I will be asking questions. I'd love to know what you think all the way through. All your comments are essential to me, by the way. And I'll be showing you a brand new survey. Oh, I think I've got a special gift for you by the end of the show. I'll show you how you can do a survey to see how effective you would be as an industry icon for free at the end of the show. So stick around for that as well. Hope you're really excited. I love it. I love having you with me. We're going out live to LinkedIn, to Twitter, to Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, and I've run out of fingers, so I might as well press this button. We're reaching out next with the videos on SpeakOnstage.
How to manage 5 generations in the modern workplace. Hi, I'm John, and I've been an HR manager for many years now. It may surprise some to know that there are as many as 5 generations working at a single workplace. With workplaces being more age diverse than ever before, it's important to remember that different generations have different needs. With several generations working side by side, it's essential to consider how their typical work styles and needs might differ, since each generation has distinct experiences and perspectives, especially when it comes to technology. With the right insights, though, you can give individuals the right tools to maximize productivity and get your teams collaborating more effectively. Generation 1, Traditionalists. People are retiring later today, and there are still many people born before 1945 still working. Traditionalists are civic-minded and loyal. They're team players. They tend to stick with one employer for as long as possible. They like to work as part of a structured team, with a focus on longer-term projects, and although they're not afraid of technology, they tend to rely more on desktop computers, landline phones, and fax machines. Traditionalists need robust voice capabilities and traditional desktop applications to be more productive. Generation 2, Baby Boomers. While baby boomers tend to stay in the same field for longer than millennials, they switch employers more than traditionalists. Boomers focus on individual performance and are driven, with their identity defined by their profession, and they care deeply about climbing the organizational ladder. Baby boomers are less likely to use social media at work or use smartphones compared to younger generations. This generation relies heavily on email, so make sure your organization is equipped with proper email tools to allow this generation to be more productive. Generation 3, Generation X. Gen X has begun to replace boomers in managerial positions in recent years, and they're more independent than their predecessors, value authority less, and are more likely to walk away from an inflexible workplace. Since this generation embraces technology in the workplace, including smartphones, email, laptops, and tablets, it's essential to implement video conferencing and team-based digital workspaces to meet their flexibility requirements. Generation 4, Millennials. This generation is the driving force of today's workplace, and they crave interaction, feedback, and collaboration, and are even more informal than Gen X. Millennials are strongly driven by a sense of purpose and crave continuous workplace learning and growth. Since this generation grew up fully immersed in digital technology, text, IM, and social are their primary modes of communication. This generation prefers to communicate electronically, so make sure you implement the proper tools to allow them to do this. Generation 5. Generation Z. This generation is just beginning to enter the workforce, but is the largest cohort of the US population and the most ethnically diverse. This generation is fast-paced, and they tend to be independent and competitive. Most of this generation's job decisions are based on how tech-savvy a workplace is, but they also prefer face-to-face communication at work. This generation appreciates technology that provides a personal experience like video meetings. Now that you know how to make each generation in your workplace more productive while catering to their unique preferences, you're ready to make all generations in your organization work seamlessly together. If you want to learn more about how to manage 5 generations in the modern workplace, click the link below for more information.
So if you just joined me, welcome to Speak on Stage. My name's Dave Crane. That's your introduction pretty much to the different generations that are working in the workplace right now. Now that should be a show on its own, gotta be honest. How do we relate with people? How do we get on with people? How do we work it so everybody stays on the same page, even though we've got very diverse pages? That's interesting. It's stuff that you'd want to know about, isn't it?
Right away.
Thank you. So what we've got now is the generation that's not included because they haven't gone to work yet, but they are already working on what they need to do to use as a job later on. That's the key. Now, we never get the opportunity.
No.
We never got any of that stuff because we were too busy being told to sit in our lane, being told to do our schoolwork, and maybe one day that'll turn into this. But right now, we've got tons of people across the world who've got very qualified, they've got great big degrees and all sorts of qualifications, but none of this. Why? Because of paying off their debts, or because they've lost their job, or because the industries have changed, or through COVID, the things that they were looking forward to are location-based, and in their particular region, they're in lockdown, so they can't get out, and so that's all kinds of challenges. Does that make sense?
Sure thing.
But you've got a generation with Generation Alphas that have a completely different spin on life. As far as they're concerned, when it comes to doing all the stuff that we're talking about, they were online from birth. They were connected by the internet, they're used to gadgets, they're used to collaborating with people all around the world, and they're not scared to start their own business immediately. So by the time it comes around to anything that happens in later life, whether they're going to education or they don't go into education, whether they start their own business or don't start their own business, it won't matter because they have more options than us. You want me to prove exactly why that works?
Certainly.
Okay, here's the thing for you. Think about it right. Have you got a side hustle in your business already? Have you got a hobby that you can monetize? Have you got a ton of people connected to you who'd want to put money into what you're doing because they like you, they trust you, they have fun with you? Fun is a major element missing from almost everybody's business plan, and because they don't care where it's going as long as everybody wins. They're not going me, they're going us. Now this is key to it. Have you got that?
For the last time, no.
But Generation Alpha has. Let's take a big deep dive into Generation Alpha and find out what really makes them tick. That's up next on Speak on Stage. Forgot to press a button then, didn't I? I was busy doing something else.
No.
Yeah, I know, I'm really sorry.
No.
I'm really sorry.
I said no.
I won't do it again, okay?
Of course.
Cool, there we go. So with this, you've seen who Generation Alpha truly is, and they're fascinating. I almost wish, apart from the fact they've got tantrums and their children, that they were running the world right now, because their view and their vision really aligns with the digital world of what's taking over. The moral fiber that I've seen of that generation, they really do talk to each other in a different way, and it doesn't seem tainted in the way that my generation really was. We were tainted by what was on TV, what were being told by our parents, what the politicians were saying, all the rest of it. They don't pay attention to any of that. So what you've got is very smart, free-thinking people who are driven by the influences around them. I'm not saying all their influences are fantastic, but their influences are also the things that make them want to reach out and collaborate and do stuff with each other. And that was kind of hijacked by COVID, because you did have a realistic argument. You should go out and play. You should spend more time with other kids. You shouldn't really be spending all that time on your iPad or phone or whatever it is. But now they've got no choice. But it's interesting to see that in many cases, certainly in my daughter's case, Maya, who we may meet later on, hopefully she's around here and she'll come. Maya! Maya! Hopefully she'll come through later on. She doesn't play shooty gunny games, or she very rarely plays shooty gunny games. The first addiction that she had was Minecraft. If you don't know about Minecraft, Minecraft is about building worlds. It's about building hotels. It's about building shopping malls. It's basically like architecture as a game of building blocks, a bit like a Lego planet. But you can do things, there's an infrastructure, an ecosystem. You can have an adventure shooty gunny games thing in it, but she didn't really do much of that. She just loved to design stuff. And that was a 6-year-old, 7-year-old saying, "Daddy, look at my hotel." I would never even think of that until I had to do it as a job. But she started off like that. And now when she chills out with her friends, because they're all in sort of lockdown, semi-lockdown mode, they go on Zoom. And friends that left school, left Dubai, because we're based in Dubai, as you can see behind me, are still joining in with the games that they're playing, even though they're in the UK, or in the US, or in Egypt, or Lebanon, or wherever they've gone back to. So we're playing this game called, what's it, About Us, is it? Can't remember. And it's this one that basically you've got to work out who killed who and who's the imposter and who's hiding. And you're on a spaceship and we've got these little things. I think it's called About Us. Anyway, all about us. And she's doing it and they're chatting and they're having fun, and it's not the same as we would have done at her age. They don't see the point in kicking a football about. They don't see the point in just hide and seek or the games that we used to play. Now, there's nothing wrong with the interaction that we used to have, but they're getting the same kind of interaction, but a digital one. And that bodes very well for a world where you've got to take that stuff that you're playing with. Think about it in terms of practice. Think about the things you learned at sport, at school, that taught you about later life, about doing well, not doing well, about having to cope with injury, all the rest of it. These guys are learning all about that from a tech point of view. So when it comes to learning the no coding system or machine code or whatever else they're going to be working on, they're miles ahead because they can have the vision from a very early age. And we're going to be experimenting and looking at that when we go into a deep dive. But next up, what I want to do is show you just how tech savvy they really are. That's up next. I love your thoughts. I love your comments. I love the fact that you're joining me and being on this particular show all about Generation Alpha, the new kids on the blockchain on SpeakOnstage.
No, my My name is Saul, and I'm like 7.5. I have like this math thing. It's called Zern. I do it on sometimes my phone and my PC. Most of the screen time I have is on my PC. I don't really like to watch movies, but I like to watch a lot of TV shows. I'm growing into like older ones, like ones about science. I watch 3 or 4 different shows on Netflix.
I have been playing video games since I was 3. I do enjoy playing video games, but it's more of an addiction.
I saw them on YouTube. I like to buy stuff I see on YouTube.
Sometimes advertisements on YouTube pop up. I don't think I've seen anything on the advertisements that was really worth getting.
What would you want to do for a job?
Play the adult games on Daddy's phone. I'm gonna be an airplane driver. A scientist.
When I grow up, I want to be a graphic novelist because I draw a lot. I prefer to draw normally on paper, but I prefer to make animations on a computer. I don't use my parents' phone because I kind of have my own. That's just for like games and stuff.
I would rather have an iPad better than a dog.
What pets do you have? Do you have a dog? Wilfred? So you try and have a conversation with them when they're on technology and it's just can't.
So now let's have a look at a proper Generation Alpha. And there's one I prepared earlier, and it's my gorgeous daughter Maya. Come and join me, let me move along a bit.
Do not be scared, I'm just getting ready for Halloween.
We're not scared, we've seen you before. So, Maya, she's, right now, let me just, hold on, let me just move this out of the way. Move that down to there so we can see more of you, that's much better. Okay, so my gorgeous daughter Maya, who's dressed for Halloween, can you come over a little bit, over to there so we can see more of you, looking beautiful. Okay, can you take that off? Because it's kind of weird and freaking me out a little bit. There we go.
Do not be scared though.
Well, don't be scared, we've seen your face before. You don't have to, it's annoying. The Generation Alpha's taken over already. I want to ask you a couple of questions about being a Generation Alpha.
This is how we are born.
Ooh, that's...
This is what my dad did to me.
I didn't do anything.
Look.
She's dressed for Halloween. It's not me.
No, my dad punched me right here.
What? Well, how can you say that? This is TV. People are going to think it might be true.
I mean, it is.
All right, so a couple of questions. First of all, I want to ask you about your view of the world. Are you happy with the world's politics? If you're not happy about it, what would you change?
Well, I would personally want to kick out Trump because it's so annoying how weirdly America is, of how Black Lives Matter is, and how they treat people that are not Americans.
Okay, so I don't want to get into the Trump versus Biden conversation. What would the world be like if you were in charge? Or if your generation, do your generation feel different about it than, say, people like me? Do you just feel that everyone should be closer? Tell me what you think.
My generation, they wouldn't care about black and white. They would just be like, we're all human, we're all the same.
Okay, so you've got like 1,000+ subscribers on YouTube. Which countries do they come from?
Depends, I don't know. We don't say all that stuff.
But okay, but have a guess. So you think it's just from all one place? Like all from Britain, or from UAE, or from America?
They're definitely from different countries. I think one of them are from Japan. I don't know.
Okay. And does that bother you that people are from different places?
No.
Do you feel that we're just gacha people?
Yeah.
Okay. So what about the idea of technology? You grew up with an iPad in your face because I had to hit you with it. I didn't really hit it. It's like I didn't
You
do
did.
that.
Don't lie.
Anyway, how do you feel about technology? You find it very easy to play with stuff, don't you?
Yeah.
Can you give us a better answer than yeah?
Yes, I do find it very easy.
Why?
I'm very good at editing.
Do you? I mean, if you have your technology taken away, how do you feel?
Sad,
Why?
because I work so hard on it, and then I don't know. I just don't really want it to be taken away from me.
Okay, difference between a book and an iPad. What about reading a book versus holding an iPad? Which is better for you?
Better is book, but if that was an option, I'd probably choose an iPad.
Because?
I don't know. I just like going on iPad. There's so many games that you can play, and also I can work on my videos, and it's fun.
Okay. What about what you watch? Do you like watching normal TV, or do you just want to get absorbed in YouTube?
I normally like watching stuff from YouTube. I don't really watch stuff from Netflix that much.
Why?
I don't know. I just like watching stuff from YouTube because it's not all just shows and stuff. It's actually from people that what they want to express onto their channel.
But do you find that some of it's rubbish and some of it's really good, and does that bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me. Sometimes it does, but you know.
So what stuff do you like watching?
I like watching gacha, gaming, and sometimes vlogs. Yeah.
Sometimes what?
Vlogs.
Oh, vlogs, so video diaries.
Mhm.
Okay, and when you watch these things, when would you feel comfortable making your own? Or do you feel comfortable making your own now?
I already feel comfortable because I'm already making them.
Okay. Do you know many people that are making video diaries and put them out online?
Yeah.
And do they worry about it, or do their parents worry about it?
I don't really know because. No.
But you know the conversations at school about people starting to make videos.
Yeah.
Do you worry about that people might be watching it?
No.
You don't worry about anybody who might be a bit weird or a bit wrong watching it?
I do worry about that, but not too much because I don't think people watch my channel like that.
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Okay, how do you feel about privacy? Do you feel that you should keep some stuff back to yourself, or do you just say the world's sharing everything I should just share?
Of course, I would like to keep some stuff back to myself. I wouldn't go on YouTube and say my name is Maya Crane. I live in Dubai in this very house, and I'm this age, and this is how I look.
Okay, but you just have because you're on this show, telling everybody that, so you kind of have. But I want to talk to you about something else now. How do you feel about your education? Do you feel that you learn as much from school as you learn from home? Do you feel that school is better? Would you prefer that school was more geared towards gaming and doing stuff online? What's a balance?
Of online school and normal school.
No, not between online school and normal school. I'm on about the stuff that you enjoy and the stuff that you want to do. I mean, what do you want to be when you grow up? You're 10 now. What do you want to be later?
When I grow up, I'll do something different than doing my gacha channel, of course, because I'll grow out of it.
Mm-hmm.
What
do you want to do though?
When I'm older, I want to. There's a lot of options. I'm still wondering, like, one of the options that I want to be is a chef because I love cooking. An artist. A designer of some sort.
And do you see the internet as being part of that business model for you?
Of course.
So you wouldn't be happy just in a restaurant. You want to be on a restaurant and online at the same time.
Yeah, because you know, people can see it online and then they'll be like, oh, I want to go here.
Do you feel that the school that you're at, and it's a great school, but we're talking about education in general, teaches you how to be ready for that, or is it teaching you a load of stuff that doesn't actually fit in with where you want to be?
Some things, but you know, some things are also not.
So some things are teaching you okay,
Yeah.
but there's a lot of stuff that doesn't. I mean, could you see yourself starting your own business in the next couple of years if you got enough subscribers? If you could sell online, would you start it?
Yeah.
Do you know people that have done it?
Just some I guess that which are mostly vloggers or gamers. Also, I've seen a gacha person do merch. It was pretty cool. So yeah, I would love to do it. Just need to think of what I'm gonna do.
What about collabs? All the time you're coming up with collaborations with people all around the world who you don't know, but you collectively just do stuff that gets more views, and you share with people you don't know ideas, and then they do the same to you? Is that just a thing when you just connect with people that you'll do a collab together?
Yeah.
And nobody says, "Who are you? What's your background?" They just do it. And is it based on the idea that you'll both be successful, or is it based on the idea it's just gonna be fun?
It's gonna be fun, and it's not for like I'm better than you, that's why you should join my collab. It's more of just you just do what you want in your collab. It's just you can have as much fun as you want doing it, and all of your creative ideas can go into a video with somebody else's stuff on it.
So do you see yourself needing to go to university, or do you think it's more likely that you'll be starting a business earlier and you'll just carry on doing that?
I want to go to university, but I don't think that. I mean, I'm not that sure.
It's too early to say.
Yeah.
Okay, but you're open-minded to whatever might be.
Mhm.
Okay, brilliant. So there we go. That's a real example of a real homemade child. Not made in a home. Well, technically she was, but you know what I mean. And she's cut herself shaving, as indeed I showed her how to shave, and I normally get it right, so 1 point for me. And you'll get another iPad across the face if you carry on like that. So it's your Halloween today, isn't it? Happy Halloween.
Thank you.
You don't go yet. I haven't finished yet. I'm still talking to you.
Put the pillow up. Yes.
Okay, so what's the deal at Halloween? Everyone's getting dressed up, socially distanced, so you can have a socially distanced picture? Okay, fantastic.
We're going to be very far away from each other.
That's nice for you to say. Okay, well, that's me.
We're probably not going to do socially distanced picture. Probably going to do one person at a time and stuff.
And then just put it all together
Probably.
as a joint picture.
Maybe.
That look cool. All right, well, thank you very much, Maya, for joining me. It's always good to have you on the show. And goodbye.
Bye. I'm already out of here, by the way.
Yeah, I guess that. So there you go. That's what it's like to have a daughter. That's what it's like when she takes over the show. And thank goodness she's gone. So that's a real Generation Alpha. It's Speak on Stage. So there you have it. You can never guarantee when you work with kids and you're working with animals what you're going to get out of them. Normally Maya's a chatterbox, I have to admit, but for some reason, probably because she was all stressed about going to school and she's waiting to get picked up by friends and all the rest of it, she didn't bother saying anything for about 5 minutes, trying to get blood out of the stone. But you wait till she starts talking about stuff she's really interested in and not talking to Daddy, and there you got a whole new game. Thank you so much. Right, anyway, Speak on Stage, good to see you wherever you are around the world. Please make sure you say hi. And let me know that you're interested in different things. Say what you like, your comments are, your thoughts. It always makes a big difference. And also, the more you like, the more you comment, and if you share and subscribe, that also means that other people get to know about the show who might have the same challenge with having kids who you don't understand, but you know that they know more about what's going on than we do. Does that make sense to you?
Why not?
Really?
Yes.
Good. All right. With that, let me just have a quick swig. Some days you need coffee. Other days you need stronger than coffee. Today is a coffee plus day, but I'm only going to have coffee, if you know what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So with this, let's take a big deep dive now into into Generation Alpha. And this is from a website called Greatness, spelled with an 8. So gr8ness.com. And here's 5 things that we can learn from Generation Alpha. And I find it kind of fascinating because even now with my daughter, she helped me set up this show. All the tech stuff that we got in there. When I was trying to read manuals and I was trying to watch videos on it all, she says, Daddy, just put it there. Let me have a look. Bum, 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 bum. And they just live and breathe this stuff. Like for me, as a very early age, I was absorbing entertainment and absorbing audiences. That's why I found it so easy to walk out in front of thousands of people with a microphone and just engage and entertain and drive stuff and do hypno shows and all this kind of stuff. But kids and tech can do it so simply. So first of all, new marketing techniques. One of the great things about Generation Alpha is they understand on levels that we don't even understand how to connect with other people. We often need to ask and get educated. They watch it and adopt it. So even from the very beginning, we'll find new ways of marketing to them, and they'll find new ways of teaching us to market as well. For instance, right now, we still enjoy adverts, but the way that they see it is if it's something that's given to them or shown to them by an influencer on Instagram or I won't say, or TikTok, for instance, then that's what they want. They want some of that. They don't want any of the stuff that we'd sort of say is interesting. And that makes it really challenging for the advertising world because you can't just say this is aspirational. You got to say to these guys, it's aspirational to the right people. And then they'll buy it if they buy into the person. And we kind of had that in social media anyway, but not to the level that these guys are cruising and thinking about it. Number two, new ways to use voice assistants. Voice assistants is like your Alexa, your Siri, your Google Home. See, I said the S word very quickly, so my phone didn't respond to it. Now, we're at the moment using it and saying, can you tell me this? Or can you find my road? Or what time is it? These guys are going to end up creating a world where it's not just going to be your gadget. It'll be everything has a voice. They'll make it so you'll be able to talk to your coffee cup, or it will be related to the heating pad that relates to your phone. So you can say, are you hot enough? And it'll say, no, we'll switch yourself on. Or they might not even say it. It'll just do itself anyway. Because right now we're still playing with a world where you've got phones and you've got gadgets. They won't need it at all. If they don't have implants by that time, they'll just have a better way of doing stuff. So maybe just like with that movie Minority Report, or what you see when you look at all the tech things like Iron Man and Marvel, when he's just moving stuff around, that all exists right now. So why is it that you just can't get your phone or get your watch? And your watch, we've already got projectors that send all your watch design up your arm. So you can see a display. It's basically got a projector that flattens it, so you'll have your whole arm like a display. And from there, it's touch sensitive enough to notice where you track when you press the keyboard that instantly comes up in your arm. And then you can move it back again. This is just already in the tech that's existing. Can you imagine how much this will all come together when you're looking at all the kids? So they're going to use voice assist. They're going to develop voice assist. You'll see things around you will suddenly have voices that you hadn't experienced. So it's going to be really exciting. All right, number three, how to cut the cords with contracts. What does that mean? Well, you know how right now you've got a contract to watch Netflix or OSN or Hulu or Amazon Prime, any of those TV channels. You've got contracts to get your electric bill and all the rest of it. These guys won't do it. They won't sign up for a year with anybody because they change their habits so fast that they just won't want to be tied in. They'll say, yeah, I'll get it for now, but how long is that going to last for? I don't want to stay that long. Now, you might be saying, well, what do you mean by that, Dave? Surely the organizations aren't going to put up with that. They'll have no choice. Because at the end of the day, they have to create something that's driven by the customer demand. And the customers right now are people like me or you who just get used to it and say, okay, so therefore I've got to sign up with an internet provider or a telecommunications provider who says I've got to sign up for a year on a contract, use that amount of data every single month, and it costs me X amount. These guys will go, no, we've got a better offer over there. Goodbye, and they'll go. Now you're saying, yeah, there might be penalties for that, but they won't think like it. And they'll make sure that it's a pay-as-you-go system or some new system that they feel more comfortable with because they have a different attitude to the way things are done. All right, number four, the true power of the influencers. I mentioned this before about the fact that advertising and all the rest of it is going to go through their generation to their generation. It's going to be really hard to reach them unless you actually have them driving the shots. They don't bother watching movies and watching TV in the way that we do, where you sit there with your popcorn or whatever you've got, just absorbed in it. They like to jump in and out. They get influenced by good shows, bad shows. My daughter earlier was talking about the fact that she does watch some stuff and it's rubbish. She knows it's rubbish, but she kind of likes it as a mixture of stuff. YouTube is dominating. YouTube by far is more effective than any of the TV stations kind of put together because they create an arena for those who just want to surf. For those who like a buffet of TV, some good, some bad, and they drive it through their ecosystem of SEO, etc., to make sure the best ones are at the front, or at least the ones that can influence better. So that means that influence is going to be a completely different thing. When it comes to sales, it means you're going to have another area, and this is something that's coming up, and I kind of played with the idea before, but it will happen. Another area of influence to watch out for is mummy and daughter, or mummy and son, or daddy and daughter, and daddy and son. Now, today we were rubbish, but can you imagine a whole show that's actually scripted, or a show that's more natural, or a show that just has lots of things in it that we can do together? And you're saying, but yeah, Dave, but who's going to watch that? Well, you might be right, but one of the biggest hitters on the internet right now is a kid called Ryan. R-Y-A-N. I can't remember his surname. Ryan's not 8 years old. Ryan last year made $54 million. What does he do? He plays, he opens toys out of the box and comments on it. Sometimes he dresses up as a superhero, and his mum and his dad and various people around him basically act like the straight man in a comedy act when you got two people. One's funny, one just stands there and acts in a way that lets the other one fire jokes at them. That's kind of what they do as they lead him around. And sometimes they spend a bit of money on the graphics, and sometimes it's very simple and he just plays on a slide. But these videos are getting tens and incredible millions of people watching, maybe even billions of people watching. So we can turn around and say, well, you know, that's never going to catch on. But it is catching on, and it's catching on under your nose. So maybe you should think about joining the world your kids are in, rather than the other way around, which is trying to drag them into your world, put down your iPad, and do something that grown-ups did when I was a kid. Forget it, that's all gone. So with your new style of parenting, you really have to think about how the generations of parents are going to be different from the future, from the way that we had it in the past. So for instance, you've got a world where more kids are growing up in split parent homes, where they do spend time with one parent, spend time with another parent, and they all talk to each other. And what you think might be, oh my goodness, this is something I can't deal with, it's really difficult to be a single parent. I don't say it's not, but what I'm saying is things like parenting are going to be, it's going to be an ecosystem that the kids will be a part of because they'll understand it better. It's not just that you have to tell them, they probably know half the things that you know already because they've heard it brought up on TV shows. It makes a really fascinating mix. And I know what you're going to say, Dave, that's not a great thing to celebrate. We should protect them. I agree we should protect them. But the point is, we're in a different world now. The world that they're in now is something that's really fascinating. And their choices, their connections, and their interest in making the world a better place is more effective than ours. And one day, the 5 generations who are working in the workplace will be hijacked by that lot. Generation Alpha are being born at a rate faster than any other. There's a crazy number that's going to be there. I think in the next 5 years, there's going to be 2 billion Generation Alphas on the planet. They're also going to live a lot longer through technology and stuff. But they're going to live with you a lot longer as well, because they're going to have to go to university that's going to have a blended learning system where you don't just get your degree, you string it out a lot longer, and I'll probably have to pay a lot more as well. So they won't be financially free. So you better get used to having your kids staying at home to their 30s. I know it's scary, but that's the world we're getting into. Are you ready for it? That's what I thought, but tough. It's what's coming. I love your thoughts, I love your ideas, and I'd love to know what you think of all this. Speak on stage. So there we go. As always, it's a pleasure to spend this time with you. And this is a subject I love particularly because of the love for my daughter. And I'm sure if you're a parent, you get exactly where I'm coming from with this. You feel lost. And I know every parent feels lost. Every parent doesn't know what they're doing. There's no book that covers everything. In fact, the most famous book I remember about parenting actually came from Bill Cosby. I haven't read it. I'm not planning to. So with that, let's have a look at the plans that I thought of about Generation Alpha, new kids on the blockchain. And basically the ideas that I would suggest that you consider when it comes to working with them. Coming up on the show, by the way, I'm going to be giving you a free gift. If you want to become an industry icon, it's a survey that you can do to work out how effective you are right now in pushing yourself to become one of the best in your industry. And that's completely free. I'll show you exactly how to get it in a few moments' time, probably about 5-10 minutes time maximum. So thanks for sticking with the show. I promise you it'll be worth it. Now that's Teen Titans, in case you're wondering, and I could name them starting on the right above me on this side. This side, there we go. That side there, it sounds like I'm pushing his belly button. There you go. That's Cyborg. Then you got Raven, just above my head here. Then you got Robin. Yes, from Batman and Robin fame, and he's very funny. And then you got Beast Boy, and then you got Starfire. Just in case you were interested, I know you weren't, but does that feel better now that I told you? So let's move on then. Generation Alpha, new kids on the blockchain. What do you need to think about when it comes to dealing with them? First of all, they're better educated and they're smarter, and in many ways they're wiser than we are. So that means that they can tell when you're BSing from the very beginning. What does that mean, Dave? Well, think about that. When you're saying that this is the way things are, this is the way it should be, my daughter will accept the fact I think it's true, but at the same time she's thinking, well, Daddy, I know you're thinking it's true, but to be honest with you, I don't see why it should be. Because I can think of a better way. Or there's ways that maybe we should... When I look at politics, she's got her mouth wide open most of the time going, why is this stupidity happening? And I go, yeah, but the difference is that she thinks about it from a way that she wants to do something about it. I only wish I could do something about it. Does that make sense?
Right away.
Thank you. All right, number 2, they live and breathe tech and possibilities, like the way that we used to follow celebrities and sports and movies, and that was our excitement. They follow tech. They follow new stuff that's coming through. And it's really exciting to have somebody who's not swallowing the Kool-Aid, as they say, but they're thinking about something that's different. Yes, I know they're being fed stuff by the tech companies, but it's also a bit of a free-for-all out there, and they can analyze it and they can work it. And they can get the apps, and they can master it and create their own in the future. That's going to be a good thing.
Sure thing.
Thank you. All right, next up, we've got this, number 3. Number 3 is they understand AI, artificial intelligence, and they understand it as it works at home as well. Could turn sound up in this? Ooh, sound's not very loud, is it? Should put this on better. Oh, there we go. You still hear me okay? Yes, no? Yes, no? Yes, no? No. Right. Ooh, somebody's trying to call me. Can't talk to me just now. I'm on a show. Stop it. So I'll just turn down a little bit, and there we go. Wonderful. Okay, so they understand AI and they bring it into the home. Now, here's the thing I want to say about artificial intelligence that's different from anything else. When I talk about AI, you've got to also appreciate the fact that these guys, they basically, the way that we'd see a cat or a dog in the home, I've got 2 dogs, they will also talk to their robotic voice of their phone or whatever, like it's a member of the family. And artificial intelligence at this point is kind of a bit ropey, but it will help them to learn, and it will learn from them. So there's a very good chance that that will become a realistic member of the family. Does that make sense? Yes? Good. I'm glad you said kind of yes. All right then. So number 4, their education must be like a specially tailored personal mix, but not necessarily getting a degree. What does that mean, Dave? Well, think about this. Right now, we're taught you should get a degree. You go to school, then you work towards high school, then you work towards graduating and going off to university. That makes perfect sense. And then you get your degree. But the flaw has always been the fact that if you do get your degree, there's a very good chance that your degree will not lead to actually getting a job in the end. And that's what we've got as a problem right across the world. Students that owe money that they'll owe for the next 20 years, they've got a degree that means they've got a better chance of getting a job than other students who haven't got one, but there's no jobs for them without experience to be able to go and do it. That's a massive dilemma for everybody of that generation. But what I think you're going to see with Generation Alpha is not only will they not care, but they'll be thinking about the fact that in their particular world, they say, right, okay, I'll have a blended learning experience. I'll learn stuff that I want to. I'll learn it from Udemy. I'll get a course like SpeakOnstage. I'll learn all the skill sets. I'll code. All these things I'll learn. I don't really need to go to university, but I might add that as part of the deal. Now, what's going to be really challenging for that for universities and educational authorities is how do you compete when somebody will sell a course for $40? And you're saying it's going to be $40,000 for you to spend a year with my university. They're going to turn around, especially with their money, and just go, you know what? If I calculate it, I can probably do a lot better just doing it myself and learning as I go and starting my own business to pay for it. That's the challenge we're talking about. Okay, do you find this interesting? I find it fascinating.
Certainly.
Thank you. All right, number 5 is this one. Our set education system is already outdated. They can and they will Google to become more accurate. So when we get down to actually looking at what goes on in your proper schoolwork, I mean, I don't sit in, I know, I'm aware what Maya's doing with her homework, but all those books, all those courses, new stuff comes through all the time on Google, and you can Google the latest paper, the latest insights, the latest stuff. Why would you settle for what's been set as a course when that course is already out of date by the time it reaches? These guys are in real life, real-time data. They don't want to know about stuff that was popular before. Fascinating. And that's going to be tough for education because it's going to have to automatically update straight away. Number 6, they're very moral. They really are. They understand what the world's about. They're fiercely independent and they question everything. Now, you might say when we were that age, we were questioning everything, and I'm older than you. And you might say, millennials question everything. Yeah, but from a different point of view. These guys can Google it immediately in front of you and tell whether you're lying. I don't know whether my daughter does that. I'm hoping that she doesn't. But if she does, she'll instantly get a different opinion to what daddy's spin on things is. And she'll make her own opinion. And then that makes her a very challenging household. Yeah, I know. You haven't thought that before, have you? You're going for the same thing as well.
Of course.
Haha, not just me then. All right, number 7, they need internet access, they need screens, they need battery times, and they need to be able to plug their gadgets in all the time. They don't like the idea of not being connected, and I think that that technology and that feeling is going to lead to a lot of technical advances. And the technical advances will mean that not only will it be a case that they get upset when they run out of being able to use their gadgets, but there'll be a lot more chargeable places. So literally more, when we get out of lockdown and all the rest of that stuff and COVID and blah, 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 all that stuff, you're going to find that everywhere you go, you'll have access to plug your stuff in, or we'll just get stuff that doesn't run down easy. You'll get solar-powered phones. If you haven't got already, we're just having them out. We'll have a little charger, you plug it in, or it'll do its own thing anyway, which makes it very easy for you to get it powered so you never run out. That makes sense to you? Good. Well, that's what we're talking about. Number 7, they'll change the world. They'll disregard privacy. This is a major thing as well. Embrace diversity and prefer tech to people. Changing the world is a definite, but every generation changes the world as best as they can, even though the generation that's in power right now won't let go of it. They want to hold on to it as long as possible, which is a natural thing, but unfortunately, because they're all wrong, it's a horrible thing. But oh, my head's gone orange again. Look, oh, it's gone back. It's gone orange, back, orange. All right, so these guys are going to change the world, but here's how they're going to do it. They're going to embrace everything that's in it in a certain way, but they're going to throw in the fact that they love the idea of being connected to people around the world. They don't like racism, they want new stuff, and they actually prefer playing with a different blend of tech to people. They're not bothered about being on their own with nobody around. Why? Because they're still connected to people when they're on their own. They don't see it as I've got no friends in the house. They've got friends around the world in the house when they're on their own with their gadget. Now, as a parent, you have to see that. A typical thing for parents is to take the gadget off them. That is like literally cutting off their arms and legs. That is a real challenge for them to deal with. So be sparing about that. I'm not saying you should limit screen time, but I'm just saying it turns into screen time if you don't do it the right way. Also, when it comes to that, I mentioned very, very quickly there about privacy. They do not have the same thing about privacy that we have. As far as they're concerned, they're connected. They won't show everybody everything because they're still guarded about what they want to show the world, but have no challenge about being out there. I mean, when we talk about, the predators or the scary people, if they find out who you are, and if you put your details down, somebody somewhere will get you. So you don't know what this generation does? They just create a second alias. And that avatar, that icon, that one that they've made up is the one that goes out into the world. It's predator proof because they're not going to see a real person behind it because they don't give their real names and their real details online. That's what I mean. Brilliant. These are kids working it out before we did. All right, number 9. They're going to swap brands and seek ethical products over value for money. This is kind of important for you to take note as well. Let me just go through this effectively for you. They will swap brands and they'll go with ethical brands over money. Now, this is true for millennials as well and Generation Z, but never more so than these guys. Now, partly because of the fact that they don't have to worry about money because their parents are paying for everything, pretty much. But they'll be able to earn their own money soon because they'll have a part-time hustle or some side job or an online store, or they'll be doing affiliate sales or commission sales. Yes, the kids and the teenagers will be doing that. So they'll be the richest kids, the most informed kids, most connected kids, the strongest kids, and also most demanding kids that you've ever had before. Makes a fascinating generation, but it also means that they will not put up with anything if it doesn't align with their values and their ideas, and they get the values from each other as well as making it up themselves. Fascinating options there, but challenging for us to stay on top of our game. Number 10, expect interconnectivity. Expect interconnectivity. I'm saying it wrong, aren't I?
No.
Stop taking the mic.
Why not?
Because it hurts me. Expect interconnectivity, automation, machine learning, and real-time data in everything that they're dealing with. They want to know that everything's connected. We already established when we were talking about it earlier that they're going to expect to have your cup and your TV and your phone and your chair talking. They're going to expect for you to come and say, right, I'm hungry, and for a pop-up menu to come from somewhere and order food for you instantly. That's not that far away, but they'll grow up with it. The idea that it's not instant and not ready for them, someone somewhere has really messed up. That's going to make them angry. But for us, because we're actually making it like that in real time, they will just expect it to be a thing. Does it mean they're spoiled? Yeah, in comparison to us. But no, not in comparison to everybody else, because that's the world that they're in now. That's the world we're in right now. And we have to make sure that as we're in that world, they teach us how to play in it. Because if we try and get them to play in our world, they'll just ignore it and do their world anyway, and we'll be left on the outside. Does that make sense?
Yes,
Scary, isn't it?
absolutely.
There you go. All right, number 11, video content is king for everything. So if you want to reach your kids and you want to get them interested in something, show them a video. That's how they learn, that's how they connect, that's how they share, that's how they interpret the world, through the video content that's being made. My daughter reads books because we forced her to. She understands the value of the spoken word and the written word, but she'd much prefer to text and watch than write and feel a real book. And I've got to admit, from being a fan of having a Kindle, I find it easier to have 1 million books on one gadget than having books everywhere. It just doesn't make sense to take up that much space. Another fire hazard, and even though it's got a nice smell to it, why would you need to have books when there's lots of digital ways of doing it? I'm not asking you so you can answer that question. I'm just saying, okay?
Right away.
Thank you. All right, number 12. They have longer uni debts and they're going to spend longer with their parents. I've already mentioned that, and that's not happy, is it?
For the last time, no.
No, it's kind of scary. All right, number 13 is this. They can easily start a home internet business in their teens. My daughter, by the time that she's going to be 13, 14, she will already have an internet business. Tonight, I'm going to go on live with the Toilet Paper Diaries with Ernesto. He's got an amazing show for you, by the way. We're going to be talking to you all about the advertising towards the elections and how advertising has shaped who wins in the end. And we'll be comparing different things. So I think you'll enjoy that anyway. But the point of bringing up Ernesto is because his daughter Nina is about 1 year older than Maya, so she's 11 years old. She has had her own businesses online from about the age of 7. Now that's partly because of Ernesto. He's been great doing stuff online and online stores and so on. But she has just adopted it and adapted it herself. She's gone off and done it her own way. So she doesn't necessarily, my orange head's come back again. Where's it come back? Sunshine does it. Natural light. Like a vampire, but the other way. I turned into a big orange glowing thing. It looks like that. Look. Oh, it's gone now. Can't show you. But my head was that colour before. Not happy.
Sure thing.
No, I'm not happy.
No.
So Nina, anyway, she's creating money and she's doing stuff. She does some incredible things. Like, for instance, she was making scarves for dogs. And she was selling them and making a small fortune, enough for her to buy a brand new iPhone at the age of about 8 or 9. That's kind of impressive, isn't it?
Certainly.
See? Same. And it goes. Then it comes back. Then it goes. Then it comes back. Then it goes. I don't understand. It's freaking me out.
No.
All right, go back to this then. This. Wrong button, so I was getting excited. Right, so they can easily start a home business in their teens, and I think you should make them do that, or encourage them to do that, because we never knew we had to get to lose our job or whatever before we start thinking you can earn as well. Imagine the power of knowing your entire life you don't need a job. You can have one if you want, but you can earn anyway because you've worked out your smarts from a very early age. How impressive is that?
Of course.
Number 14, they're less likely to want borders between people. Doesn't mean they don't understand what a country is, but what they don't understand is why a country would prevent other people connecting with them. As far as they're concerned, we're all one big happy family with different mums and dads. Look at the orange. Gone. Back again. Gone. That's freaking me out now. I don't like it at all. And the last but not least, number 15, is this. They can teach us to stay relevant in the workplace and in the world for free. So if you have a child who is Generation Alpha or a head that's just gone the same color as this, it's doing my head in, and you find it funny and I don't. I just find it annoying.
I said no.
Well, I find it annoying.
Why not?
Well, because it just is. It's not worth any money. But if you've got a kid who's already at that age and they're already embracing it, get them to teach you something. Because otherwise, if you don't, you'll end up paying a fortune for somebody to get you up to speed. You've got a ready-made university on tech in your place, and in my opinion, you should be embracing them. Now, if this interests you, I'm going to stay with this slide for another few seconds to take a screenshot. I really think this will be useful for you because this is almost like a guide towards understanding what your kid will be thinking and how you can embrace it rather than fighting them and telling them off. Because if you have a childhood, if you give them a childhood where you're telling them off, I'm going to have this on my shoulder now, like Long John Silver. You know, it's like a pirate. We'll have the parrot there. Instead, I've got like a gold bar. Oh, Jim lad! How are you? Ha ha! I have a gold bar and I've got an orange head. Like that. There you go. It's called orange. But getting back to the original point, which is this. You have got a university of tech in your house. Embrace it. If you don't and you bully it, they will resent you because it's actual abuse to pull away their tech gadgets because that's all they know and all they've known because you allowed that to happen. I'm not saying you shouldn't allow it to happen. If you didn't allow it to happen, if they grew up in a world where they would look as stupid as we do when new tech gets introduced and we say, what does that mean? They're already working out what it means because they're talking to each other about it. So the very least that we can do is work out to be part of that world. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Thank you. Well, another long show, so I'm going to go through this very quickly. The Industry Icon program is how I train you to be as effective as I am when it comes to working a live audience or creating a brand or getting your marketing out there or being seen as a go-to person in your industry. I work with a lot of different people in different industries. Today, I've got coaching clients all the way through to end of play today. So I'm telling you that because I love what I do and I can share it with you and help you reposition yourself. Now, the thing is, you might say, well, Dave, I'm not ready for that, but I don't know where to start. That's why this is so key to you. Here's what I want you to do. We've put together a special survey for you to be able to work out where you are on the scale of positioning yourself as an industry icon with a number of questions that you just have to answer, and then you can work out for yourself very quickly where you are, whether you're ready to launch or you've still got some work to do. Does that make sense? Does that excite you?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's have a quick look at this. What you have to do is do this. Go to SpeakOnstage.com, make a note of this, or do it as soon as we finish the show. Go to SpeakOnstage.com, then go to where it says above me. See that gold bar that's about the same color as my head when I put my hand down. That gold bar there. Yeah, that one just here. Go to there, click on this. When you click on that, that will take you to the industry icon page. Once you've done that, you'll arrive at this page. Okay? Then when you scroll down slightly, you'll see this thing here next to me here, which says take the survey. You see it just there, just disappearing the finger, right? Take the free survey. Click on that and 20 questions will come up. They're all dead simple. And by the way, I don't get necessarily a copy of this. You have to then fill in a survey, decide what you think of it. And if you decide that you want to move forward and work with me, you follow the process and send me a message, and a Calendly link will give you opportunity to book a 10-minute consultation session with me about how you can rebrand yourself and get yourself to that level. Does that sound exciting?
Right away.
You do it now?
Sure thing.
Fantastic. And when you do become an industry icon and you do position yourself, and it is an ongoing thing, you'll get an opportunity to look at the roadmap too, then what happens is you can do everything from launching your own TV series to writing books, to having a podcast, to being a wizard on social media, to create an ecosystem around you, to start dominating. And this is a way of dominating, I promise you, that all the other people who are doing crappy posts on LinkedIn or Facebook and all the rest of it, and they're getting a load of different comments coming back, but not turning it into money, I'll show you how to turn it into money. I'll show you exactly how to monetize your relationship with your existing business, doing what you want and what you love with people who already follow and have an interest in what you do. So when you wake up in the morning, right from then to going to bed, you only do what you love and people will give you stuff because they're into it, they see you as an expert, and they want to be closer to you as a direct result of that. Does that sound good to you?
Certainly. Of course.
Great. So that brings us to the end of the show. Hope you enjoyed it. Fascinating stuff. I think it was fascinating stuff. All about Generation Alpha. And I mentioned that at the beginning, that's what the program was all about. That's what the kids look like today. And that's basically what you should be considering. If you haven't already got one, get one. Because the kids are all right. And the kids are going to teach us what we're going to do for the rest of our lives. And I just worry about this orange head. See, if I had this as a badge, if I had a name badge, right, that said Dave on it. Dave is golden, right? And it could be like a wrapper. I could have it hung around like a lettuce, like a necklace. So if I sort of hung that around, I mean, I'd look really cool, wouldn't I? If it was a gold medallion like a BG. I'd say, hey guys, welcome to the show. I don't know why I'm doing that. That's just what you do if you're trying to... But what's that? That's a tambourine, isn't it? I have no clue what I'm doing. So I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. It's been a pleasure being with you. I hope you got lots out of the show. I hope I was able to share some ideas about the next generation that'll help you have an advantage and also help you understand better what you have in your house. If you have kids that age, you are sitting next to a wannabe and probably will be genius. So nurture them. Don't fight them. Give them an opportunity to shine. Give them a chance to thrive. They're going to be there for a very long time, and so are you. So if anything, reform the relationship. It's not mom and kid or dad and kid. It's almost like family partners. Think of it as your tribe growing together where everything's got something to contribute. And just because one of them is very small doesn't mean that they're not contributing in a big way. They're doing it right now, but you're not paying attention to it. So maybe you should. Another great show coming up tomorrow. Hope today's been good. Share it, like it, subscribe it, and meet me back here. I'll catch you on SpeakOnstage online for your survey. I look forward to catching up with you tomorrow or the next time we broadcast, next time I catch up with you. So until then, have an amazing day. I'm going to leave you with the ideal video for what we've been talking about all day. This is Alphas. Have an amazing day. Let me talk to you about alphas. Alphas are the way that things are going to be in the future. If you're not an alpha, then you're not anybody in a world where people need to see your brand. So what's an alpha? Every single industry, every single walk of life, every single part of the animal kingdom knows that the alphas are the leaders that make things happen. When you go into a boardroom full of people and you're wondering how you fit in, if you're an alpha, it won't matter because you're in charge. So how do you create a brand? How do you position yourself in a world where being an alpha makes a difference? You have to consider what that truly means to people. To find if you're an alpha, you've got to ask yourself certain questions. Are you a risk taker? Are you a heavy hitter? Are you a mover and a shaker? Are you a thought leader? Are you somebody that people gravitate towards because you're a manager? Are you scared of the consequences of getting it wrong? Do you embrace the ways that you can make it right? Do you move on and position yourself regardless of what's happened before? If you have, you are an alpha. If you're not, you are a follower. The difference in a war is you become the cannon fodder. So let's put it in perspective. How do you put it together? How do you get yourself in a position where your alpha will allow you to earn more money, be more successful, grow your business, be seen by others, and have a tribe that are your followers? Well, very simple. In my opinion, you learn to speak. Speaking's the advantage. Communication is one of the few things that most people don't know what to do. If you take the biggest leaders in business that you can think of, whether it's a Steve Jobs, a Richard Branson, whether it's a Nelson Mandela, or a Donald Trump, or an Obama, every single one of them has one thing in common. Their message was clear. And when the message is clear, people can follow. So where does that put you? Can you speak? Can you say what you need to say in front of strangers? Can you walk into a boardroom full of people and stand there and make your claim and do your sales in any part of the world? If you can't do that, you're not doing your business. If you can't do the speaking, if you can't do the communication, you're not an alpha. But when you are, you walk in a room and the whole world sees you. The whole world appreciates you. The whole world repositions you. And this is the noise that you will hear. Learn to speak, and you become an alpha too.